Alien was originally released on May 25, 1979, and instantly became a hit that changed the face of science fiction, horror, and what could be achieved when the two genres were so skillfully intertwined. It spawned 3 sequels, 2 prequels that saw the return of director Ridley Scott, and even a spin-off duology with the Alien vs. Predator films. Not to mention the countless comics, novels, video games, and all other stories taking place within the world of Alien and its extended universe. This 40-year legacy is owed to the groundbreaking original film, of course, and it all hinged on the success of the alien creature's design, conceived by Swiss artist Hans Rudi Giger. Without that unique, frightening, incredibly compelling creature design, Alien may not have been quite what it was, and maybe wouldn't have been as impactful as it ended up being. Up until the camera started filming, the design was still being fine-tuned, and there was a point in the production where the final adult form of the xenomorph may have actually been slightly different from what eventually came to be. Of course, in pre-production, other design ideas were entertained. Ron Cobb, who created the excellent design for the ships and their interiors, also conceived a possible design for the creature himself. These designs did not make it too far into the conception of the film, though his Nostromo designs were very well represented. When it came to the actual alien of Alien, there was something very special in mind. There have been many retrospectives on the making of Alien. The Beast Within, The Alien Legacy, the new documentary titled Memories, The Origin of Alien, which I've heard great things about and hope it gets a worldwide release soon. In all these accounts, there are always going to be little details here and there of who came up with what, who decided on this or that, etc., but what all the creative forces behind Alien seem to be unanimous on was that the make-it-or-break-it aspect of the film was the monster, and the best possible monster to make the movie work was the design by H.R. Giger. Much of the credit in realizing this goes to writer Dan O'Bannon, who quickly infected Ridley Scott with his enthusiasm for the bizarre and entrancing art. O'Bannon has said, "The idea came to me, looking at Giger's paintings, was if somebody could get this guy to design a monster movie, you'd have something completely original that no one had ever seen before." Scott was in complete agreement with O'Bannon that the alien design for Alien should be Giger's. "The thing that really worried me most of all," Scott says, "because I figured I could get all the environment, all the costumes, and the casting right, but who was this beast? What was this beast going to be?" That's when we started talking in great detail about Giger. This is beautiful, not just threatening, and also has very sexual connotations, so in everything it's like a rather beautiful humanoid, biomechanoid insect. It was in February of 1978 that O'Bannon first showed Ridley Scott H.R. Giger's art. Within that same month, Scott met with Giger and convinced him to become involved with the film. Scott was enamored with the design from Necronomicon, discussing with Giger how he wanted to capture the exact design as seen in his art, despite Giger offering some revisions to better suit the film. Scott's desires were set on the design pretty much as is, and looked to Giger for further designs to bring to the film, such as the Facehugger, Chestburster, and LV-426, so the full adult monster design seemed to be locked in, with further work to be done in other aspects of the alien life cycle. The basis for the alien in its final form is Giger's Necronome IV, which is instantly recognizable as the xenomorph design we know today, with a few key differences, the largest being that this design has eyes. Large, bulging, insect-like eyes, in fact, instead of the blank, impenetrable dome of the final creature we know. The Necronome IV design was the agreed-upon version of the monster going into production. Even early puppets of the Chestburster show that the original design had the bulging eyes, in this case even with limbs. The Alan Dean Foster novelization of Alien, based on its shooting script, also carries over this design concept and its description of the xenomorph. It was the novelization that first clued fans into the film's deleted scenes, some of which later made it into the director's cut, such as the infamous cocoon scene, and others that remain cut, such as the airlock sequence, which was only partially filmed. So it was also the novelization that first clued fans into the design originally being different from what made into the final cut of the film in theaters in 1979. This excerpt from Brett's death scene from the novel, also published in 1979, gives you an idea of the originally intended monster. Soon Ripley and Parker were standing where they'd seen Brett's legs flailing moments before. Staring up into blackness, they had a last, brief glimpse of dangling feet and twisting torso receding upward. Above the helpless figure of the engineer was a faint outline, something man-shaped but definitely not a man, something huge and malevolent. There was a split-second sight of light reflecting off eyes, far too big for even a huge head. Then both alien and engineer had vanished into the upper reaches of the Nostromo. As described, this version of the alien was meant to have big eyes far too big even for a huge head. The alien having eyes may have been sort of a small detail, but a hugely significant one that impacts the overall effect of the creature's appearance. As production of Alien went on, it was Giger who made the case for removing the eyes. He explains, "I didn't want it to have eyes because it makes the monster more dangerous. It's more scary. And because you never know where the monster is looking." Alien's production was a unique relationship between design artist and film, to say the least. Giger was very hands-on and intimately involved when it came to translating his designs to the screen. His contributions to the film and its visual effects were recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences the year following Alien's release, with Giger receiving an Academy Award for his work on the film. It would seem that all the stars aligned when it came to just about every aspect of making Alien, along with the crucial creature design that, without Giger's last-minute revisions, may not have become the xenomorph we all know and love today. The eyeless design became the standard when it came to the continuing films in the series. James Cameron, though going into different design directions without the aid of Giger, was aware of the effect the eyeless alien had and dared not stray away from it. And for what it's worth, the novelizations corrected the inconsistency as the series went on. Alan Dean Foster also adapted Alien 3, and I think this passage from the novel, from when Clemens is killed and there's the infamous close encounter with Ripley, very eloquently taps into how frightening the design really is. The alien ripped his head off and flung it aside. Still, she didn't scream. She wanted to. She tried, but she couldn't. Her diaphragm pushed air, but no sound. It shoved Clemens's spurting corpse aside and gazed down at her. If only it had eyes, a part of her thought, instead of visual perceptors as yet unstudied. No matter how horrible or bloodshot, at least you could connect with an eye. The windows of the soul she'd read somewhere. The alien had no eyes, and, quite likely, no soul. Could Alien have possibly worked and been so iconic after 40 years if the xenomorph actually had eyes, or would it have just become another forgotten sci-fi movie monster? Certainly the design has great elements otherwise, but did it all have to come together just so for it to look just right? Do you think the xenomorph would be just as scary if it did have eyes, as we've seen in some other depictions of the alien over the years? Comment below and share your thoughts. And as always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. A very, very special thanks goes out to WEYLAND YUTANI executives, EmYarUk, and Lady Anne, part of the Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, wishing a very happy 40th anniversary to Alien, signing off.